was that fucking mic on when I was talking to Aretha? She says, no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't on. I said, check and see. Because my daughter just could beg the difference. My daughter heard everything I said to Aretha and what she said to me. No, then she said, oh, the mic was on. Bitch, excuse my expression.
Yeah.
You knew what the fuck you were doing. Y'all wanted to be the first station to report any information on Aretha.
Now, I want to talk about a little controversy. You was doing a radio show and you was talking privately to Aretha Franklin, and they taped your a private conversation about Aretha Franklin talking about her health, and then an employee at the radio station taped it, and then they aired it.
Yeah, man, that was really fucked up. That's when I realized, man, that those you think got your back, I've never done radio before.
Yeah.
So when they came to me once again, being a celebrity, wanted me to do radio, at the time I was married, and my wife was general manager. She had went on to another state, but she was general manager at that station. So she knew everybody there.
Yeah.
And she knew. One of the program directors came up to me one night at a restaurant and said, Keith, you ever thought about doing radio? I said, nah. She said, well, what if you was going syndicated? I said, well, that was something I have to discuss with my wife, because my wife knew all about radio.
Yeah.
So we made the decision to do it.
Mhm.
And my numbers was incredible. I mean, they had me on buses, billboards, so, they did the whole 9 yards, man. And it was great. And Keith, I was going up against Keith Sweat, and Keith and our numbers were shipped back and forth. Keith was on for it because he was on another station, The Mix. And we was going at it, man. And it was great, I'm number one for weeks and Keith number one for weeks. And so it was going great. It was a big thing, right? And they brought new equipment in because they had to update their shit to go syndicated with me.
Yeah.
And we had about, I think, 15 cities starting out with me to be syndicated. At the time this happened with me and Miss Franklin, I wasn't syndicated at the time. We was preparing for that.
Yeah.
So what happened is, Aretha would call me. Aretha Franklin would call me, text me, baby, you sounding good. I'm listening to you. You sound amazing, Keith. And I'll hit her back, thanks, Riri. And she said, and so I'll tell her, on my long break, I'll give you a call, right?
Yeah.
And at the time I hit the flip phone and I had dropped it, man, and broke it, the top. So I couldn't talk like that. I had to open it up and use a speaker.
Yeah.
Now my Bordeaux is on the other side of me.
Yeah.
And there's glass right here. You know what I mean? No, it wasn't glass. She's on the other side working her songs, and I have the list and everything, right? So this particular time, Ree is trying to contact me, tell me that, because she listened to the show.
Yeah.
And she, like I said, she was like my sister, my sister, my mom, my aunt. She was everything to me, man.
Yeah.
My family knew her. She went to school with my family. And so I took a long break and then I hit her back. Because I would, like, my celebrity friends would call me, if they're in town, got concerts, listening to me, they'll hit me and text me, and I leave the other room and go talk to them. But this particular time, when Aretha called me, I had called her back on my break. Now, mind you, we were streaming too. We had hundreds of thousands of streams. So we streaming.
Yeah.
So on my break, they supposed to cut the mic off or stop the tape until we come back on. Okay, that was off the rip. That's what we asked for. Nothing to be recorded when he's doing his personal shit, right? So they cut the mic off when, songs are playing and this, and I got a long break and I'm just sitting there and people, just whatever comment. So this particular day, everybody, all this whole weeks, everybody, every station wanted to know what was wrong with Miss Franklin. What's her cancer status? What's this? Everybody from CNN, everybody talking about Riri. And Aretha's like, truth, I would never despise. I would never do anything like that. She's very close to my heart. My family knows me better. My friends that know me know I would never do nothing like that. That's not my character.
Yeah.
And Aretha knows that.
Yeah.
She knows. And so what happened is when Aretha called me, she said, hey, babe, and I got my flip phone up. right? Now, mind you, my station was like, Kate, let's do an interview with Aretha. I was like, no, when she's ready to do one, I will ask her. You know what I mean? Because they know she would call me.
Yeah.
But I would, like I said, my phone got fucked up, excuse my expression, so I would have to open it on the flip, and you know how that little bitty flip phone we had.
Yeah.
So I'm talking to Aretha, and she said, baby, you sound great. Now my stream, where they supposed to turn the sound off, how about they left it on? So now all these thousands of people are hearing me and her conversation. So I'm just back there, and my board house was responsible, but it was a conspiracy. I do believe that the program director told her when he talked to Aretha, make sure you record it so we can be the first station to report her situation. And that's for ratings, right? Because every station was trying to find out about about Aretha.
Yeah.
And we just talking. So I said, and if you've seen it, because you can go pull that shit up on the stream, Keith, and you'll see that, oh no, that ain't bad. Because if he did, he wanted to say some shit, he could have really said some shit. And she would respond because she trusts me.
Yeah.
So she called and she said, you sounding good, babe. I said, that's good. I said, so Reed, when you get some time, man, I want to do an interview. She said, babe, you know, you basically, you got me. Let me just get through this. And I said, so how you doing? She the one that said, now I asked her how she doing.
Yeah.
She the one that said, baby, they running tests. They just checking things out. And I'm saying, baby, you're going to be okay, you know, da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
When you get yourself together, you take your time, basically, and let's do it. And she's like, got you. She the one that, I didn't say, Aretha, what's happening with the cancer? What's happening with this?
Yeah.
I just asked her, how you doing?
Yeah.
You know, and I would always ask her that. That ain't had nothing to do with her situation.
Yeah.
I just, like, you would call me like, okay, what's going on? How you feel?
Yeah.
And that's what I was doing to my sister. I was like, so how you feel? And she went on and said they run a test. I wasn't asking about her. I was just asking how she was doing. And so I was like, babe, you're going to be okay. When you get yourself together, then that's, you know, I would love to sit down. Basically, I don't know what I said, like, sit down and talk to you about it. She said, that's cool. Let's talk. We went on talking about some other shit.
Yeah.
And then that was that.
Wow.
Okay? That was that. My daughter called me from New Orleans because my daughter, Kendra, must have been about 10 or 12. She loved Aretha. She called me and said, Dad, on my phone. She said, Dad, you sounding great, because she was checking out on her little computer. She would listen to me every day from New Orleans.
Yeah.
And she said, Dad, it sounds great. I said, guess who I just interviewed? Guess who I just got off the phone with, babe? She says, Miss Franklin, Miss Aretha. I said, yeah, how you know? She said, because it was streamed. That's how I found out to my daughter.
Wow.
I said, what? She said, I said, baby, what did you hear? She said, I was talking about how she said she liked hearing you on the radio, and then you asked her how she doing. And she said that they running tests, blah, 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 blah. She never even said what she is. She said they running tests and blah, 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 all that stuff. I said, you heard that? She said, yeah, Dad. And she said, if I heard a whole bunch of people, my daughter, I was like, and then I said, baby, let me call you back. When I got off that fucking phone, bro, I went fucking nuts.
I can imagine.
I went over to the program director, the board house. I said, Carrie, what the fuck's going on? She said, what? I said, was that fucking mic on when I was talking to Aretha? She says, no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't on. I said, check and see. Because my daughter just can beg the difference. My daughter heard everything I said to Aretha and what she said to me. No, then she said, oh shit, the mic was on. Bitch, excuse my expression.
Yeah.
You knew what the fuck you were doing. Y'all wanted to be the first station to report any information on Aretha. Y'all wanted to be first.
Wow.
And they were first because it was streamed. And that's nothing. That's nothing. They went to the motherfucking point, excuse my expression, and I don't think I ever talked about this part. They went to the stream of taking the clip down to Channel 2 News. Took the clip down to Channel 2 News so they can show the shit all over Michigan.
Wow.
And other networks and other people got it. CNN. Bruh, that was the worst part of my whole life because so then me and her going there. So Carrie said, I didn't know much about streaming then.
Yeah.
So Carrie said, don't worry about it. I can hide it. I'll hide it so it never, da, 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 da. I was like, okay, whatever you do, get rid of that shit. I'm thinking you can get rid of the shit, but
Yeah.
I didn't know if it hit shit is gone. You know what I mean? I didn't know that. So I went off, bro. But then I get a call because I'm thinking okay. I don't know shit about streaming.
Yeah.
You know, she said she can hide it, whatever the fuck it was, right?
Yeah.
Excuse my language, but it pisses me off today. So I sit there and the news call my station. They said, yeah, Channel 2 want to interview. I'm thinking they talking about my record's about to come out, right? So they call and they say, hey, Kay, they come down to the studio in my booth area. They putting all this stuff up. All what you got, they put this shit up. Guy behind the camera. Now they got a split screen. Channel 2 and then me. I think it was Hugh Perkins that interviewed me. If I'm correct, if I'm not correct, I'm sorry. But I casually know this brother, man. You know what I mean? I mean, we see each other at Aretha's parties and we see each other at the gym. Oh, that was my dude. I mean, cool.
Yeah.
You know? But how a motherfucker can flip when
Yeah.
you know, oh, I got to play the role. So he interviewed me, he said, Keith, I'm thinking they're going to talk about my career, bruh. I didn't know my station had took a clip of that down to the news, right? So they pull the cameras up. Keith, hey man, what's up? Hey, what's up, girl? Well, here, what's up? Whatever it was, whoever it was. And he said, we'll be on and countdown, boom, boom, boom. Hey, Keith, we got to keep my man Keith White. We live. This is live, dude. On everybody's living room, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
What's up, man? How you doing, man? I'm good, man. He said, yeah, man. So I know you got a good relationship with Miss Franklin. I said, yeah, I do. He says, well, can I ask you a question? If it was so good, like some bullshit, now I saw the bullshit, because if it's so good, why would you secretly record? This is what he's saying to me on basically some shit like that. And I'm like, what? And then he shows the clip. He said, and he said, wasn't that you talking? It was the audio they had.
Yeah, yeah.
And wasn't that you talking there? I said, yeah, but what is all this about, bro? Now I'm already seeing what's happening.
Yeah.
He said, yeah, but you. I said, yeah, but it wasn't even about all that, bro. We was having a personal conversation, and I'm surprised y'all got this shit because of the fact that was private. I'm surprised my fucking radio station and whoever. Oh, I snapped, bro. And then what killed me is like, you know what, you fucking media, man, you know. And it's funny because I'm in the media now. I'm on radio. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
sorry, you fucking.
Talk about yourself.
I'm saying. So he's saying that was you talking about Aretha. This is Channel 2 News.
Yeah.
Split screen. Everybody's living room seeing the shit. And I'm like, there's like that was you talking to Miss Franklin because they had the audio. I was like, yeah, but where's this going, bro? I mean, that's supposed to be like your sister and this and that. This is a cat that I kind of see at Aretha's party. That is you.
Yeah.
And how that could be your best sister, whatever, when you secretly what? Some shit he was saying. And I said, you know what, man, that's some bullshit. First of all, I went to explain. I said, you know what? You fucking media is so fucked up. Basically, this is what I said. You tries to find information there. And he said, and I'm thinking at the same time, well, Keith, watch how he says, because you're an air personality and you are in the media, right?
Yeah.
So as I took this shit, I said, this is over. He says this, bro, and everybody got a living room heard him say this. Well, he must be guilty because he got all upset and this and that. He must be guilty. This is what this nigga's saying.
Wow.
I couldn't believe you smile in my face, and just to get ratings, you're gonna dog one of Detroit's own. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it really broke me, man. Because now Will calls me, which is like her Will like worked for on the road. They've been very good friends for years. We call him Uncle Will. He's passed away now. Will called me while I was down. Our phone rang, and hey, Kay, it's Will. Because in fact, before that, when they said they wanted to talk to me about Aretha, I didn't know they was gonna talk to me about this shit. Because I called Will. I said, Will, Channel 2 want to come down here and interview me about my record, and then want to ask me questions about Reed. He said, you know what to do? Because when Fox called me, I mean, when CNN called me before this shit happened, CNN called me and asked me about Aretha. And Aretha, Wilner would say, you know what to do. And I was like, Reed good, man. I was always saying Aretha's fine. Because they knew that me and her was close.
Yeah.
And I would take, Aretha would be like, take them, because they know I ain't gonna dog her.
Yeah,
I was like, no, Reed's good, man. We just went to Pink High, went to Hot Dogs, man. Man, Reed great, all that. You know, I'm downplaying everything because I didn't know shit. So I really can't talk about something I don't know.
Yeah.
I can talk about the positive things. Me and Aretha, you know, we just hung out. That's my girl, you know, I love her to death. Well, is she seeing it? Well, is she have cancer? I don't know. You have to ask Miss Franklin. I don't know anything. I just know that's how it was. So when he called me after the station threw me under the bus, I'm thinking he just called him because that's when everybody wanted to talk about Aretha.
Yeah.
So when he called and all that went down, right? And he said what he said, well, you know, he must be good. All that shit, it destroyed me because it was like, man, look, bro, you have no idea. People was burning my CDs in London, burning this. He'll never work. All this, bro. And I'm innocent. I'm at home, dude, and the news is on. Hey, one of Detroit's greatest R&B got caught talking about a So I did a letter that I sent to them reporting what happened. So my station was like, "Okay, we'll put it together," because the general manager didn't like it either. She thought that was fucked up, and Kathy Hughes hated it.
Yeah.
Kathy, who was who I work for,
Yeah.
Kathy didn't approve none of that shit. She fired this person. So motherfuckers got fired after that, right? Even the program director, they fired that bitch. No, yeah, we'll call it what it is, because I thought that was disrespectful.
Yeah.
And they fired her. Her name was Smiley, you know, and it was just horrible, bro. And the repercussion behind it was horrible with me and Aretha. Will called me and says, man, did you just do an interview about Aretha? I said, yeah, man, but he said, yeah, and I was like, but I was like, Will. He said, man, it's bad. It's fucking bad. This is her right-hand dude. Keep now she's already like reserved. And here I am in her camp and thinking that I'm a snake-ass guy.
Yeah.
That hurt me because Riri know that that's not who I was. And when she saw it, she knew that, okay, but then what happens, she's paranoid now. I didn't bother. My aunt was like, call Aretha. I said, I'm not gonna call Aretha. The reason why she was gonna take my call anyway. So when I did finally say, I'm gonna call her, you know, because they know my heart. They know I'm not that way.
Yeah.
And if you look at it, you can see all the shit. Let me tell you something. All the stuff that Retha and I talked about, certain things Retha would have me do that I would not discuss with anybody. And it was shit that she would have me do. Like, okay, if you do this, could you come on the road with me and do my Christmas show with me? Retha, I'm not gonna do that. I mean, and for her, I would do some things, right?
Yeah.
So she know my heart. Because when things was mentioned like that, I said, I'm not gonna do that, Ray. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not. I like her, Aretha, but I would do it for Aretha. So she know my heart.
Yeah.
For me saying I'm not whatever. But my point is, when this shit happened, you know, I did reach out to Reed, and of course my number's blocked, you know, all that stuff. I knew it, you know, because I know Reed and the people that are around her, outside of Carlton Northern, which he's passed, who's a hairstylist, was like my brother. He just passed me years ago. He was with her all the time, and he was like, Reed asked about you today. You know, he'd be doing her hair. And even after all these, I mean, I would see Aretha at events. Normally we'd be together, like hugging, and Keith, come walk with me, whatever, getting me, whatever. It's like seeing her, man, and not seeing her.
Wow.
I know her heart and she knows mine. And my security would go this way, and everybody there, you know what I mean? And I can't go over here because of this shit, you know what I mean? So I'm not gonna embarrass myself with her security because I know them too. I know what protocol is. I'm just gonna keep moving at a war, whatever the hell it was. And then what happened, I said, over a period of time, things would change. So as Carlton doing her hair, she said, how's my brother Keith doing? Carlton called me and said, man, we asked about you today. So, you know, it was getting better. I was like, yeah, man, I said, tell her I'm doing okay. I told her, you go, I told her, Aretha, you know that nigga didn't do that shit. She says, I know. I love Keith. I love, she would all come back, how's Keith doing, but never talk to me.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And the sad thing about people that I introduced her to, family members, friends, really thought that they had the ups on me. Going to Aretha's parties where I was not invited. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh man, Aretha party and show me pictures and stuff. And it's cool because I know I'm innocent. And I know all justice will prevail at the end of the day. And that's what happened. She would ask, and then I would see her, and of course her security would, I wouldn't even play myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we were cool. And her asking about me through Carlton and asking how I'm doing, how the new record coming, what's happening with him in radio, because I quit radio, all that shit, right? Because I was broken, man. I mean, you didn't try to ruin my career.
Yeah.
The people that play my records, and I don't hold the station, I don't hold them as that individual that wanted to, and I'm not gonna blame the whole station, because some of those people over there was good to me.
Yeah.
But this particular person that I worked for had the audacity to try to damage me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're the person that hired me.
So now, did you guys ever have a full reconciliation before her passing?
No, I was performing. Aretha had properties all in Detroit, so she had a condo off the water, and it's a concert place. At the time, it was called Shane Park. Now it's called Aretha Franklin's Amphitheater. And so Will, the guy that come and said, "Kate, what the fuck is up?" He says, "Reed told me to tell you, kill him. She's listening because she can hear me from her condo."
Wow.
She had a big ass house way out in Bloomfield somewhere, but she was sometimes come to her condo, which was huge, off the water, and you can hear the concert, and she would tell Bill, tell him, you better get out because I'm listening, right? So she knows through the healing of what happened with us, she was always there for me. We just have never, and it hurt me because, like I say, people that I introduced her to would send me pictures. Look, we was at Aretha Park. Yeah, remember, I'm the one that got y'all connected to Aretha. But I understand, you know what I mean? And I remember I was somewhere, man, and it was like, I was so glad I was at an event, and I forget who it was, a big time celebrity lady and a promoter, production lady, whatever, executive. We were walking down the hallway and they wasn't saying shit to me, dude. You know what I mean? Because of the Aretha thing, and I know what it is. So now people are thinking I'm a rat.
Yeah.
And then we was on the elevator, and I say, listen, y'all know me, and y'all just gonna walk like y'all, well, Keith, and then they never really heard my side. And when I told them, they was like, we knew it was some shit in the game. You ain't that way. So then they started talking when they heard my side of the story.
Yeah.
They said, we just knew it. Even the Fox 2 News, bro, when they didn't even want to air that shit. They was like, this is not him. We know Keith. And then they said, but what he's saying, he ain't even saying. He just asked how she doing. And I know he wouldn't have secretly done this. This is not Keith. The news anchor people know me, said, and they would say after they said, we hate to report this.
Yeah.
We don't want to report this, but and they'll talk about it. And after they talk about it, they said, but that's just hard to believe because anybody know Keith, that is not him. So to have a good reputation, I say to everybody, when you clean as a whistle, I don't care who dislike you, they can hate on all you want to. But if you ain't got no blemishes, they can't talk about you. They can make up stories about you.
Yeah.
And they made shit up about me because that's what they want to believe. At the end of the day, I know I'm clean. And I know my relationship with Aretha was clean. They just tried to make something out of it for ratings.
That's messed up.
That's the whole story about that.
Thank you for sharing that.